Hi, I'm Corey Wayne, and today we're going to do another news opinion piece. Obviously, Estefania is the one that does the news because she has a master's in journalism. So basically what's going to happen is she's going to tell us the facts, the news, the best that she's been able to verify, and then I'm going to give my opinion like I always do because people have in the past said they like my opinions on things, but I obviously want a competent journalist to tell everybody what the facts are. What was that? What are you saying? What you saying?
Show us the Carfax.
Alrighty.
Is that what you said?
No, I said I don't like your opinions.
You love them. If you didn't like my opinions, you wouldn't be here.
So we'll talk about the first story and a bit of the history. Sonia Sotomayor is an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States. She was nominated by President Barack Obama on May 26, 2009. She is the first woman of color, first Hispanic, and first Latina member of the court. She graduated from Princeton, and then she went to Yale Law School. She was an editor for Law Journal, became a district attorney in New York after graduation, had private classes, had her own law firm. Then she went to the Supreme Court. Now, let's backtrack to January 7th. January 7th, a oral argument took place at the Supreme Court. She obviously was talking and she made a claim, a false claim. She stated that there were 100,000 children in ventilators. No one corrected her at the moment, but the following day, the CDC chief, Dr. Rochelle Walensky, was forced to correct the U.S. Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor's dramatically inflated claim.
Did she say how many were on ventilators? Or it was just 100,000 were hospitalized with COVID?
Well, in this article here, which I have, I can show you exactly what she said. Children. We have over 100,000 children, which we have never had before, in serious condition, and many on ventilators. That is the statement she said on January 7th.
So, to me, what jumps out at me is I think Justice Sotomayor is a victim of believing that the news is real. I mean, that's the thing with you hear all this stuff about fake news because what do you got?
I stopped watching the news like 10 years ago.
Well, you have stuff that's completely wrong, turns out to be factually inaccurate, or it's misleading, or they lie through omission because they're trying to sell you a narrative. Like we were talking about the other day, this is going back, 3-4 years. There was one of the chief editors of the New York Times was at some kind of event giving a talk. And so I asked Estefania, it's like, what does a journalist do? And your answer was?
We state the facts. We have to state the facts, no opinion, and we just get the story out there.
And you just graduated with a master's degree in journalism from the University of Miami.
Woo!
The U.
It's all about the U.
Which is not an easy school. And
congratulations.
And so
Thank
this
you.
particular editor, like one of the chief, I think it was the chief editor, he says journalism's job is to make society better. This is the New York Times, supposedly the most credible newspaper in the country, is doing something completely different than what journalism, the great Walter Cronkite. I think Joe Rogan is like, he's the Walter Cronkite of this generation.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at those two videos that Dr. McCullough and Dr. Malone, that are like over 50 million downloads or views or whatever at this point, which that audience is bigger than all of the mainstream media's audience. And
well, I feel like we're just now in the time where people really just want the truth, because for so long things were so misinterpreted, and so our society was just so influenced in such a wrong manner to a point where things, look how divided we are as a country, as a society. I mean, the polarization is wild, and I feel like people are now starting to wake up, and as people, like, we deserve the truth. These are important things about our world, and that's what we should have always received, is the truth. And it's never really been that way until the people who have been courageous enough to stand up, because I feel like the people who have been able to tell the truth, I mean, they either get canceled, they get killed, they get, there's a lot of serious damages.
They get labeled as a conspiracy theorist.
They get labeled, exactly. So it's the people who are now, that have that following, and journalists that are really striving for the truth, they have a lot of support because it's what the people deserve at the end of the day. And we actually have the sources to tell the truth now.
Yeah. At the end of the day, the news looks fake. That's why people like the podcast style like this, because you're just having a discussion, telling us the facts, and then we're kind of discussing it. And then you make up your own damn mind. That's what self-reliance is all about. You're supposed to make up your own fucking mind.
That's how it should be with, like, everything in life, like religion and politics. Like, the way I looked at religion, for example, is just because, like, your parents are Catholic or Jewish, of course they influence for you to be that. But I think the real right way to do things is, let me inform and educate you about all the religions and about all the political parties and about everything. And then you choose what gravitates towards your own self-beliefs and your own liking. And then that's what you stand up for.
Listen to many voices, but speak with your own.
Correct.
So anyways, we got on this long diatribe, and it's just this whole story. One of the chief justices of our Supreme Court, who's making the final decision with our laws and what is or isn't valid in our country, is watching the news and saying stupid shit like this because she, it caused you to go, boy, I really got a lot of faith in the Supreme Court. She really seems to know what's going on out there. I'm really glad she's the highest court in the land. Whew, smartest people in the world. So, anyways.
Well, back to Sonia. She hasn't come forward and said exactly what happened, if she got the sources on her own, or was it the law clerks that provided that information to her. We are not sure at the moment. I just know a few days later, we had the CDC chief, Dr. Rochelle Walensky, who was forced to correct the U.S. Supreme Court justice. Imagine the lady sitting down and saying, hey, there's fewer than 3,500 kids with the virus in hospitals. So she obviously corrected the U.S. Supreme Court. And I think social media has been going crazy with the false claim and the actual fact.
What cracks me up,
thoughts?
Sorry to interrupt you, is that over the past year, like on Twitter, there are just like, especially lately, there are compilations of videos with her and all these other people in government, Fauci, Bill Gates. I mean, everybody that's been on TV talking about this stuff and how, like, 12 months ago, what they were saying. And it's like a time lapse. All of them, and then as their stories all changed over the last year, and it's a fucking trip.
Can I see a picture of her? I want to see. I definitely know who this woman is. I just need to.
There she is. Girlfriend.
See, mute on.
Yeah, look at her.
So, okay, this is my piece.
Green juice would really help her. Green juice and
Green
smoothies.
juice would help anybody.
I know, but most people won't do
This
it.
is my opinion on it. I think the fact that she's going mute and not coming forth on her piece or where she got her information, there's some, like, that's sketchy, she's obviously...
Well, honestly, the Supreme Court justices are not supposed to get involved in political stuff, so they tend to step away. They might put out a statement, but they are...
But that's what I'm saying. Maybe a statement just so people, like, I feel like if people come forth and have something to say, whether it's just one sentence, there's...
You mean her put out a statement, say, hey, you know what? I fucked up. It's not 100,000. I was misinformed. I guess maybe I was watching CNN and actually believing what they had to say. So
but
here's
that's
what the
I'm
numbers
saying.
actually
if she
are.
said something like that, then that would avoid all this crazy backlash and bullying and cancel culture coming towards her way. Whether it's ownership, whether there's an excuse, whether it's valid, we don't need to get stuck in the minutia. It's the fact that the fact that she hasn't come out and said anything is the reason why all these people are going nuts and like attacking her. It makes sense. That's what people do. They stir up shit and stories.
People love drama.
People love drama. Not me though. I don't like drama.
I hate
You
drama.
used to like it. It was part of your life.
It was very part of my
That
life.
felt normal to you.
It was, well,
you were
chaos.
emotionally conditioned to think that was normal.
You're very right about
and
that.
so you were in a stress state, so you built your whole life around that.
Correct. I always lived in a very chaotic place, and now I do not. I live in peace. So
Mostly.
there's hope, ladies and gentlemen.
Mostly,
Hope.
except when your company forcibly vaccinates you.
Yes.
Fucking Nazis. That's what a fascist is. Mussolini, who should know because he was one of the founders of fascism, he said fascism is the perfect merger of state and corporate interests. So that's basically the heads of the corporations and the heads of the government colluding together to run the perfect society.
Well, I don't know if we want to go down this rabbit hole because we need to talk about the news. But
She'll keep us on task.
I saw the most insane documentary the other day, literally about this. How that I'm like even scared to talk about it because I don't want to get hurt. But basically, that there's facts. We can literally look it up ourselves that there's 2 companies that literally own the world. It's not even the country, it's the world. They are the biggest shareholders for every company and every industry that we could possibly think of. So I'll tell you about that later.
Okay.
I'm going to be honest. I feel bad for her because whether
She looks stupid.
she looks stupid, yeah, but who knows if it was a mistake? Who knows if she was really behind it all? Like, how do we know if she's never said anything? She doesn't have a statement.
Yeah, we have to wait until the statement to clarify where she got the information.
We all make mistakes, and also the fact that like when you're talking to the nation, you're nervous as shit, and I think it's very normal to say some wrong things. It's just whether you say something wrong or not, it's so crazy the backlash you're gonna get regardless, you know? And people are very sensitive and vulnerable about this situation because look at what this pandemic has done to, you know, to the economy, to people's mental health, to people's families, to everything, as it's been an absolute shit show. So, and it's like, I don't know, I feel like there's so much more important things to do in life rather than be wrecking this woman over a sentence. But her being silent is tough because then it gives people space and the time to talk shit and create all these assumptions.
Kind of just remember from the other conversation we had, sometimes people need that space to gather their thoughts.
Agreed.
To see what
how
is
am I
the
going to approach
proper-
this to society
Yes.
when everyone hates me right now?
Correct. So sometimes space works here.
Instead of react, you take some time and then you respond.
Like there definitely has to be some guidance, like her team, her publicist, someone that's like, you need to take a couple of days before you say a statement because it's not only such a sensitive topic, but you are a huge role in our country. Like, you know, she's literally
At the end of the day, our government is incompetent and corrupt.
Yes.
That's the bottom line.
Bottom line.
And the smaller it is, the better it is for the rest of us. Because we do mostly fine
Love you.
in spite of them instead of based on what they do.
Which is crazy. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know why we live in a society that's so based off of people's mistakes and fuck-ups rather than their accomplishments. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not cool with that. How do we change that narrative?
Well, 96% of all incumbents get reelected, so we keep reelecting the same fucking jerk-offs, and then everybody's upset that nothing changes.
Because we're zombies, you know?
Trump won the fucking election, and he gets rid of all the America First people and gets rid of General Flynn, and then, man, he said he was going to drain the swamp, and then he ended up hiring, because he's trying to play nice with everybody. He was kind of a fucking pussy about it. He hired all these swamp creature type people, and they were working against him the whole fucking time.
It's crazy. celebrities and people in the public eye and politicians, like that's what comes with this, with the role, with the job, is like you're not gonna be liked by everyone. Can you even handle all the shit that's gonna come to you? Like, let's just say this woman said what she said as a mistake. Let's just say it was a real hardcore mistake. Look at what she's dealing with. It's like ruining her reputation. Anything can ruin your reputation these
I
days.
personally think it was a good thing because one of the things that Kwong was saying on the other podcast is that it's really revealing to everybody how fucked up shit is and how incompetent and corrupt our government is.
But we don't need something that small to know that.
Well, when people start to see the problem, then they can fix it.